Dear students, now we are going to discuss about nucleic acid. There are two different types of nucleic acids are there: DNA, RNA, deoxyribonucleic acid and ribonucleic acid. If the nucleic acid which are having a sugar called deoxyribose sugar, then this is called as DNA. If it is having ribose sugar, then this is called as RNA. So there are two kinds of nucleic acid which are present inside the cell. Usually most of the nucleic acid present in the nucleus, some of the nucleus which are present in the cytoplasm as well. So they can able to form a complex structure which is formed by a structure is called as nucleotide. So nucleotide is a polymer of lot of monomer. So both DNA as well as RNA which are made up of by nucleotide. Usually the nucleotide which are having two important nitrogenous bases called as purine and pyrimidine. So if you see, there are 5 different types of these nitrogenous base like adenine, guanine, thymine, cytosine. So adenine, guanines are purine, guanines, cytosine are called as pyrimidine. So adenine, guanine will be called as purine, then thymine, cytosine will be called as pyrimidine. If you see RNA, instead of thymine, uracil, another type of pyrimidine will be used. So these all purine and pyrimidines are linked together with the help of double hydrogen bond or triple hydrogen bond. So which is forming a link between these two. These are called as nitrogenous base. If these nitrogenous base are linked with a sugar, either the sugar will be deoxyribose sugar or ribose sugar, then this will be called as nucleosides. When the nucleosides are linked or react with a phosphate molecule, then this is called as nucleotide. So one nucleotide which will be forming a complex monomer. These complex monomers or number of monomers are joined together to form either DNA or RNA. That we can study one by one. So nucleic acids are very much essential for living organism. Both DNA and RNA are polymers of monomers are called nucleotide. As I said just now, each of these composed of nitrogenous base, a pentose sugar and a phosphate. A purine or pyrimidine will be called as nitrogenous base and a ribose sugar, either ribose sugar or deoxyribose sugar to form nucleoside. A nitrogenous base is linked to pentose sugar through N-glucosidic linkage. What is N-glucosidic linkage? When the two molecules are joined together, if it is removing, water molecule will be called as glucosidic linkage and forming a nucleoside. When a phosphate group is attached to a nucleoside, it is called as nucleotide. The nitrogenous base is heterocyclic compound that can be either the purine, or a pyrimidine, one ring. So there are two types of purine, as I said just now. They are called as adenine and guanine are called as purine. Similarly, cytosine and thymine and uracil also will be called as pyrimidine. But in DNA, cytosine thymine is present. But in RNA, cytosine uracil will be there. Instead of thymine in DNA, uracil will be present in the RNA. So these are various components which are present inside the nucleotide. So a characteristic features that differentiate the DNA and RNA is that DNA contain nitrogenous base such as adenine, guanine, thymine and cytosine. But in RNA, they may contain nitrogenous base such as adenine, guanine, cytosine, uracil. Here, instead of thymine in DNA, uracil is present. So nitrogenous base is usually covalent bonded to a sugar molecule, either it is a ribose sugar in RNA or deoxyribose sugar in DNA. Apart from this, phosphate group is joined together. So phosphate group is a derivative of phosphoric acid and forms from phosphodiester linkage of sugar molecule. Now we are going to discuss about formation of nucleotide and polynucleotide. How the nucleotide is formed, how the polynucleotide is formed, everything can be seen with the help of a tabular column. So look at the tabular column. Here how the nucleoside is formed. As we discussed earlier, when the nitrogenous base like either purine or pyrimidine are react with a sugar. Either it is ribose sugar or what you call deoxyribose sugar. So this will be called as nucleoside. When the nucleoside is react with nitrogenous material, phosphate material, then this is called as nucleotide. First, how nucleoside is formed. So there are 4 different types of nucleoside: adenosine nucleoside, guanosine nucleoside, cytidine nucleoside, deoxythymidine nucleoside. One by one we can see. If it is adenine is react with ribose, then this is called as nucleoside. Now this is when adenine is react with join with ribose sugar, which is forming adenosine. If the adenosine is react with a phosphoric acid, then this is called as adenylate acid. So when a purine or pyrimidine, if it is react with sugar, it is called as nucleoside. Then this nucleoside is react with phosphoric acid or phosphate molecule, then this is called as nucleotide. See here, adenosine nucleotide or adenylate nucleotide. So when adenine is react with ribose sugar, which is forming adenosine, this adenosine is react with phosphoric acid, this is forming adenylic acid. Similarly, when guanine is react with ribose sugar, it is forming guanosine. This guanosine is react with phosphoric acid, which will be forming guanolic acid. Similarly, cytosine. Cytosine react with ribose sugar will be forming cytidine. This cytidine is react with phosphoric acid to form cytidylic acid. Same way, thymine is react with deoxyribose sugar. But in RNA, uracil is react with ribose sugar. Understand the difference? Then, if these are all we are going to study in DNA. Thymine, if it is react with deoxyribose sugar, which is forming deoxythymidine. This deoxythymidine, if it is react with phosphoric acid, which will be forming deoxythymidic acid. If it is uracil, if it is uracil is react with ribose sugar, it is called as uridine. If the uridine is react with phosphoric acid, it is called as uridylic acid. This will be in RNA. So these are the formation of nucleotide and nucleoside. Now we are going to discuss about DNA and RNA. So both DNA and RNA are very much important. Usually, if you see the cell where the DNA is present, if you see the cell, so this is nucleus. Inside the nucleus, nucleolus will be there. Around the nucleus, chromatin material will be there. This chromatin material will be condensed together to form a chromosome. A chromosome is having centromere and arms of chromatids. This is P arm, it is Q arm. Inside the chromatids, which are made up by DNA. So the DNA, which are having various kinds of guanine, adenine, thymine, cytosine and so on. So these are all combined together to form gene. So this is the position of DNA inside the cell. Now, how the structure of DNA will be formed? Look at the picture. This picture will be helping us to understand about the structure of DNA. Before we are going to see about the structure of DNA, how the nucleotide is formed. So this is a nitrogenous base. What do you mean by nitrogenous base? Either purine or pyrimidine. What are purine? Adenine, guanine will be called as purine. Then thymine, cytosine will be called as pyrimidine. So both purine is linked with pyrimidine to form nitrogenous base. If this nitrogenous base is linked with deoxyribose sugar, it is called as nucleoside. If the nucleoside is joined with or react with phosphate, it is called as nucleotide. So this is a building blocks of both DNA as well as in RNA. So this concept you should understand. Then only we can able to understand about the structure of DNA and RNA. A great scientist was called as Watson and Crick. James Watson and Francis Crick have been explained the three-dimensional view of DNA, that is called as double helical structure of DNA. So this is also called as BDNA. The shape of the DNA will be also called as BDNA. So after the discovery of Rosalind Franklin have been given a photograph which will be taken by the X-ray diffraction method. with the help of the photograph which is formed by X-ray diffraction method, which have been taken by Rosalind Franklin, these two scientists, Watson and Crick, have been proposed a new model which is called as double helix model, Watson and Crick model of DNA. Due to this, they awarded Nobel Prize in the year 1962 for this discovery of Watson and Crick model of DNA. So what is the structure of Watson and Crick model of DNA? See here, look at the picture. This picture will be helping us to understand about the double helix model of DNA. Look at the picture. This picture will be helping us to understand about the double helix model of DNA. The double helix model of DNA which have been proposed by Watson and Crick. This is also called as BDNA. So how these DNAs are formed, as we discussed earlier. This purine will be forming the nitrogenous base. These purine like guanine, adenine guanine, and pyrimidine like cytosine and thymine are linked together. For example, thymine is always linked with adenine with single hydrogen bond. Sorry, double hydrogen bond. Here thymine is always linked with adenine. Then guanine is always linked with cytosine. So in such a way, as many number of nitrogenous bases linked together. This guanine and cytosines are linked with triple hydrogen bond, and adenine and thymine is linked with double hydrogen bond. So these are called as nitrogenous base. These nitrogenous bases are linked with sugar. There is this deoxyribose sugar, this is pentose sugar. These are present in this blue band. The blue bands consist of both deoxyribose sugar and phosphate chain. So these nitrogenous bases are linked with deoxyribose sugar, that is called as nucleoside. That nucleoside is linked with sugar, phosphate, that is called as nucleotide. So number of nucleotides are joined together. Usually, as I said just now, this adenine is joined with thymine by double hydrogen bond, and guanine is joined with cytosine with triple hydrogen bond. These are called as complementary base pairings. What do you call? Complementary base pairings. So this is forming the blue colored double strand. Usually if you see, these two chains are run in opposite direction. For example, this is 5' end. If you see the 5' end, this will be end with 3' end. So this is called as run in opposite direction. Similarly, 3' ends are joined, end with 5' end. So this is called as the two chains, 5' end as well as 3' end, are runs in opposite direction. That means 5' end is joined end with 3' end. 3' end will be end with 5' end. In such a way, these blue color sugar phosphate chains are forming. In between this sugar phosphate chain, these nitrogenous bases are linked. So in between these two strands, we will be having a width of 20 Armstrong, and these are turning for one coil. That means they can be able to turn. Every turn will be having 3.54 Armstrong. 10 turns will be having 34 Armstrong. So in such a way, this structure of DNA, which will be present in the double helix model of DNA. So this double helix model of DNA, which will be following Chargaff rule. What is Chargaff rule? The Chargaff rules are nothing but this adenine is always joined with thymine with double hydrogen bond. Then guanine is always linked with cytosine by triple hydrogen bond. This is one rule. Second rule, sum of adenine plus guanine, which will be equal to sum of thymine plus cytosine. Similarly, adenine is to thymine is always equal to guanine is to cytosine, that is equal to 1. So these three rules will be called as Chargaff rule. This was published by Erwin Chargaff in the year 1949. So this is very important rule. On the basis of rule, this DNA double helix model is formed. So if one strand is run in 5' end to the 3' direction, the other is opposite direction. That means they runs in 3' end to the 5' direction. And thus are anti-parallel in direction. They run in opposite direction. The angle at which the two sugar protrude from the base pair is about 120 Armstrong. For a narrow angle, it is 240 Armstrong for the width angle. So if it is turning, which will be producing a major grooves and minor grooves. So if it is turning, there is a groove is there. It is major groove and a small minor grooves. So whenever these double helix model of DNA strands are turning, these are producing a major grooves as well as a minor groove. A narrow angle between the sugar generate a minor grooves and the larger angle on the other edges generate a major groove. Usually each base pair is having 0.34 nanometer apart from a complete turn of helix comprises 10 base pair. So one turn is consists of 10 base pair. So one base pair is having 3.4 Armstrong. And the 10 base pair, that means a complete turn which will be producing 10 base pair which constitute 34 Armstrong. So DNA helical structure has a diameter of 20 Armstrong. That means the width of the double helix model is having 20 Armstrong. So X-ray diffraction method which will be helping us to identify this structure. So this will be helping us to understand about the structure of DNA in detail. So usually based on the helical structure, the distance between the each turns, the DNA is in three forms. That is aDNA, bDNA and rDNA. For example, look at the picture. This picture will be helping you to understand about three different forms of DNA. See the first picture. This structure will be helping us to identify that the structure is DNA. The cross section is looking like this structure. Then bDNA, the double helix model of DNA, which will be looking like this structure. The cross section will be forming bDNA. This cross section will be showing zDNA. That is the third forms of DNA. So there are three forms of DNA are there. They are aDNA, bDNA and zDNA. Now we should understand about the differences between these three DNA. So if you see, what are the types of helixes present? If you see, the bDNA will be having right hand. So it is rotating right hand form. bDNA as well as aDNA both are having rotating clockwise direction. So it is right hand form. But zDNA, this zDNA anti-clockwise. That means left hand rotation. Helical diameter. So diameter between these two. The bDNA will be having 2.34 nanometer. The aDNA is having 2.55 nanometer and zDNA will be having 1.84 diameter. Raised per base pair. So bDNA is having raised base pair is 0.34 Armstrong. That means for one base pair is having 0.34 Armstrong. aDNA is having 3.2 Armstrong. It is increased. zDNA is having still increased. That is 4.5 Armstrong for one base pair. Number of base pair per complete turn. So if you rotate one turn, which will be having 10 base pair in bDNA. But as far as aDNA, if it is rotating completely, it is having 11 base pair. If it is rotating zDNA, one rotation will be having 12 base pair. Then if you see about topology of the major grooves, the bDNA is having major grooves wide and minor grooves deep. Generally, major grooves are wide and deep. But in aDNA, it is very narrow. The major grooves are very narrow and deep. But for zDNA, it is flat. See here, it is flattened. What about minor grooves in bDNA? Minor grooves in bDNA, it is narrow. But on the other hand, in aDNA, minor grooves are broad. Here, major grooves are broad or wide, minor grooves are narrow. Here, minor grooves are narrow, minor grooves are broad, major grooves are narrow. On the other hand, zDNA is having major grooves are flat, minor grooves are narrow. So in such a way, these are having various different kinds. Now that's all about DNA. Deoxyribonucleic acid. Most probably these are present in the nucleus. Sometimes they may be present in the mitochondria and chloroplast in the cytoplasm as well. Now we are going to see about RNA, ribonucleic acid. So ribonucleic acid is a polymeric molecule. It is essential in various biological roles in coding, decoding, regulation and expression of genes. RNA is a single stranded and it is unstable when compared to the DNA. DNA is permanent. It is very stable. But RNA is not stable. It is unstable. It is always changed. It is always changed from one form to the other form. Look at the structure of RNA. So this type of RNA will be helping us. So various types of RNA, that is messenger RNA, mRNA. This is mRNA, which will be called as messenger RNA. These are nitrogenous base pair. So this is strand. This is ribosomal RNA, rRNA. This is transfer RNA, tRNA. So the tRNA is looking like clover leaf-like structure. It is single strand. If you see rRNA, it is about 80% of total amount of RNA present in the cell. That means if RNA present in the cell, among them ribosomal RNA is having 80%. This tRNA is having 15%. Remaining rest of the percentage, this messenger RNA. So these are all very important in 2 mark diagram as well. So you should practice the diagram, very simple diagram, but they may ask in the exam. One time in the public examination they had asked about this messenger RNA, ribosomal RNA and transfer RNA, hence we should study. Now we shall see one by one. What is mRNA? So mRNA is nothing but messenger RNA. This messenger RNA are single stranded. This is a single strand. It carries a copy of instructions for assembling amino acid into proteins. It is very unstable. They will not be permanent. It comprises of 5% of total RNA polymer. Prokaryotic mRNA, that is polycistronic, carry coding sequences for many polypeptides. Eukaryotic mRNA, it is monocistronic, contain information for only one polypeptide. But prokaryote is having many sequence, that is many polypeptide, that is polycistronic. But for eukaryotic, it is single polypeptide, that is monocistronic. Then second category is tRNA, structure of tRNA. Usually the tRNA is translate the code from mRNA into transfer of amino acids to the ribosomes to build proteins. It is highly folded into an elaborate 3-dimensional structure and comprises about 15% of total RNA. It is also called as soluble RNA. And moreover, it is looking like clover leaf-like structure with 4 important arms: anticodon arms, amino acid arms, D arm, and various types of arms. So in such a way, which are having the basic structure of tRNA. Then what about rRNA? Ribosomal RNA. It is being at the center. It is rRNA or ribosomal RNA. Now ribosomal RNA is single-stranded, metabolically stable, and make up into 2 subunits of ribosomes. It constitutes 80% of total RNA. It is a polymer with varied length from 120 to 3000 nucleotides which are present inside, and gives the ribosome their shape. Genes for rRNA are highly conserved and employed for polygenetic studies. That's all about this chapter, biomolecules. Thank you.